I want to make something real clear about this video. America is no more racist right now than it has been in the past. But the racists in this country have grown more desperate day by day. I think it's irresponsible to say that America gets more racist day by day, but I do feel like there's been a huge step back, and it has to do with the shifting dynamics of this country. For the first time within the next 20 or 30 years or so, white people will no longer be the majority in this country. And I think that that fact becoming reality is what's really driving a lot of white supremacists to feel like their status quo is threatened and they need to do something to stop it. The reason I think Donald Trump had such an impact is because he immediately tapped into that fear that was lingering in the country already. People feel like they are no longer in control, that they're being replaced because of the large amount of immigrants that are coming into the country, and they do not look like Europeans. I remember sitting back and watching the news channel, and I saw Donald Trump made that famous announcement where he said that Mexico was going to build that wall. He was saying that when Mexico's people come here, they're not sending their best. They're sending rapists. They're sending drugs.
And they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
And at that moment, I knew that Donald Trump was going to win the presidency because he found the ultimate scapegoat. People in this country no longer feel financially secure, and they need somebody to blame it on. A dollar does not go as far as it used to. So when you tell people the reason why you are not doing as well as you used to is because of those brown people over there, it makes it a lot easier to tap into that fear. And that is exactly what he did. A lot of people genuinely feel that when Donald Trump became president, that they were taking their country back from the outsiders. White nationalists believe that America needs to be a white man's country, with the white man maintaining the status quo, and they feel like that is being threatened. And it started with President Obama. President Obama came in and he made a lot of people afraid for no reason at all other than the fact that he was a black man that was put in as the president of the United States. And I knew there's going to be a big blowback when that happened. And what happened was we have President Trump. He's exactly the response to President Obama for people in this country that feel like they have been forgotten, that feel like they will be replaced, and feel like they are losing their status in society. White supremacists feel emboldened. They feel like they have a government, a president, a conservative party in this country that will back them up. They feel like they can say whatever they want to say without the harsh feedback that has been given in the past for hate speech. They feel like now is the time to assert themselves. We see how dangerous this has become when a shooter a couple weeks ago opened fire in El Paso because he wanted to kill basically Mexican immigrants. He was a white supremacist. He subscribed to the ideology that America is a white country and it needs to stay that way. This white supremacy issue is even more confounded by the fact that our country has a issue with mass gun violence. Just because not everything is reported, not everything is as large scale as the El Paso shooting, there is a very alarming increase in the amount of white supremacist plots where individuals are planning to get together and commit great acts of violence to hurt people. And a lot of people say that the president's rhetoric is not contributing to it, but when you have someone who holds the highest office in the land who is telling people consistently that he does not have a tolerant message of people from different places, he's telling people in this country that the reason why they are struggling is because of people outside, people that look differently than you, and it's emboldening these people to carry out these acts and feel like somehow they are contributing to a greater movement for themselves and for their perceived white nationalist state that they want to prop up in America. And let me just say, when it comes to the gun debate, I am for more stricter gun controls. There's been instances when individuals should not have been getting the gun, and if they were background checked, they would not have been able to get it. Um, People would say, well, if a criminal wants to do something, they're going to do it. They're going to do it anyway. But it's not that black and white. Sometimes you have certain people that won't go that extra step because there's a barrier there. They might be socially awkward or something like that. They don't want to go buy a gun from a random person. There's barriers that can be put in place that will stop people from doing certain things. And if it saves one life at all, is worth it. A lot of people look at the mass shooting numbers every year and they're saying, oh, it's not as high as the amount of people that die from breast cancer or heart disease or getting hit by cars and all this other stuff. But every life on this planet is precious, and everybody needs to understand that. Every life on this planet is precious because you never know who can find the cure for cancer. You never know who can save the world from Armageddon because an asteroid strike is coming. You never know. We may have the next Einstein that has been killed. But because people are so careless and so desensitized to death in this country, people do not want to make a movement to make a change. Now, I am not for taking people's guns away. I'm not for that. If we were going to take guns away and change the culture, we would have to do that 100 years ago. It's too late to take guns away. We do not want to unarm law-abiding citizens when there's criminals out there who have weapons. The one thing about this country and the NRA and the right that is extremely hypocritical is where gun laws are applied and who they are applied to. You have a mass shooting where some disgruntled white guy ends up killing 30 people and the gun control debate happens. They're all for no guns. Not at all. But little do people know, back in the 60s, the Black Panther Party entered the California State Capitol building armed. Back then, they were allowed to assemble in public with weapons. The reason why you cannot open carry in California to this day is because the Black Panthers went inside the state capitol building armed. The NRA, that's the only piece of gun legislation that the NRA signed off on. When you have armed black men, then it's a problem. See what happens if a bunch of armed black men got together and started shooting people in the streets, mass shootings. I guarantee you will have a new gun law by yesterday. I guarantee it.